Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We're going to do sourdough. Let's caveat this. Let's put a couple of markers up. I am not a bread expert. I can make a sourdough, but I do not know the intricacies. But I can inform said you on how to make a wonderful loaf of bread. So, this is my method. I've actually tried to be prepared today. Here's one I prepared earlier. Here's one I prepared earlier. First things first, let's get a whiteboard out. Whiteboard of joy! Tell you what, the thing that gets me so excited about sourdough is it is, in reality, 2 ingredients, right? Flour and water. Let's call it sourdough 100 because it's not going to be a 101 because I'm going to forget some things. Number one, first thing is a starter, which we'll talk about. How to make your own starter, how to carry on feeding the starter, what happens when you have so much starter because you fed it too much. Don't worry, we'll get there. And then recipe, I'll say method, and then cooking. So with a starter, I'll get my old one. This is my old one. Don't know when the videos will come out, but me and Dan might have done something with that. This one is another one, which is Dan's one, which I've started carrying on feeding. This one's 200 years old. This is about 2 years old. What do you get from having 200 years old? Active. She's an active girl. Flavors, sourdough, sourness. You'll get that. You won't get that from flour and water immediately, okay? So to make a starter, all you need to do, take 20 Gs of flour, and then 20 Gs/mils of water. Mix it together, mixy, mixy, mixy. Leave, you put it in like a little container like this. You can just put a loose lid on it, a bit of cling film, whatever. Day 2, feed it again. This is where a starter can get out of hand, okay? Net weight, 40 Gs, 20 plus 20. Then what you need to do is you need to then add 40 Gs and 40 mils. Maths again, you've already got that. Add all that together. You are now up to 120 grams of starter. Oh, she's starting to grow. Now, it's the process, what's the maths? There's a maths equation that is like the ramification of continually adding. If you do that, is gonna get out of hand, right? So if you did 120 grams of your starter, 120 grams of flour and 120 mils of water, we're up to 360 already, baby. What they tell you to do when doing a starter, which is, wasteful, literally just flour and water, is you discard half, okay? So at this point here, when you've got 40 Gs of net weight, if you discard half, you've got 20 Gs, right? With me. So now all you need to do with this 20 Gs is do the same amount. So 20 Gs of flour, 20 Gs of water, mix that in with your 20 Gs of starter, you've got 60 grams of starter, okay? Especially when you're starting out, just do little increments because you want to build up that sex. So I would say 20 grams of flour, 20 grams of water gives you this. Do this, 40-40, get to 120, and then discard, yeah? So then you can do 60 Gs, and then you build it up because like if you don't have enough flour, it's not gonna have enough to feed on, it's not gonna get fruity. A starter will take around 1 to 2 weeks to be like funky, I would say. I've done it before and you just get disappointed. You get violently disappointed because you're like, oh, it didn't do any rising, it didn't do anything. And like, yeah, because it's gotta be fruity. What you wanna see is like good bubbles. So it should be nice and energetic. Like bubbles, you can drop it in a cup of water and it should float because bubbles make things float. That is your starter. With this, as you can see, this has been fed and then I discard a bit, fed, discard a bit, fed, discard a bit until you end up. If you want to go to your local bakery or your local pizza joint and just say, yo, can I have some starter? I'm sure they will give you some starter because they're probably just discarding half of it as well, all right? So go get that, then you skip all of this step and then you go 200-year-old instead of a 2-year-old, all right? This stuff here on top is called the hooch. So what happens is you've got to basically imagine this will ferment and then on top here is gonna be the alcohol which will protect this. So all you need to do is discard that and refeed it. I haven't fed that for about 8 months and she is still gonna be okay. Next step, getting onto the recipe. I feel like it's just gonna be quite a talky one. Is that all right? Everyone all right with a talky one? Where's that gone? Let's give this a rub off. So as I said, this is my very basic recipe, but it seems to work. What I do, 100 grams of starter. Now, what you need to do is feed this the night before, so 10 to 12 hours before, feed it. What's flour gonna do? It's gonna absorb, it's gonna be like, I'm full, but then all of a sudden it's gonna get beans, it's gonna get excited, and it's gonna start to bubble, ferment, and froth. Banging, that's what you want. This is gonna go into the recipe, okay, 100 grams. You wanna be left with about 150 grams because if you put all your starter into the flour, you're gonna have none left. So you always need to reserve a bit. So do some maths, 50 grams of starter, 50 grams of flour, 50 mils of water. You're gonna be left over with 50 grams because 100's going into the recipe. Comprende? Comprende. Now, what you then need is I always go 500 Gs of flour. Very simple. I don't ever buy expensive stuff, but I just use a generic flour and it seems to work. Fingers crossed. Then I do 375 ml of water, okay, and 12 Gs of salt. Got me? Got me. The process is very, very simple. Just chuck everything in all together into a bowl. What I do is, it's gonna be more writing, ladies and gentlemen. Time frames. First thing in the morning, let's say you wake up 7:30, chuck everything together, mix, yeah? I've just done a terrible mix here, because you can do that first thing in the morning and then just go have a bit of downtime with your family. Maybe you're leaving the house at 8:30, so 8 AM, give good mix, okay? So that's the step we're gonna do now. We're gonna give it a very, very good knead, and then we'll go on. You can do this in a bread machine if you want to, or like a Kenwood, but I kind of love the feeling of doing it by hand. Nothing beats it, you know, feeling like you've really achieved. Me and my wee man do this, and he just like decks it for ages, like, go on, son, yeah. If you never kneaded, it's a very simple process. You just stretch it out with one hand, and then you fold it over. I mean, do whatever you want really. Fold it, you can turn it the other way. Stretch, fold. You can do it with one hand, you can go two hands, you could go fists. It's just basically just getting it together. I like to sort of go hardcore, 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 fold it over, hardcore, 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 fold it over. It's a good workout, I love it. So what you'll see with this is if you pull it, it just sort of tears, okay? Because there is no structure. I know about the science, but I know how to make a loaf. So we're just gonna give this a good knead, 5-10 minutes, and then I'll see you in a bit. So I've been going at this one for about 5 minutes. Now one thing I want you to understand when doing bread is a lot of people's common mistake is to add more flour because it starts to get sticky, right? If I was just to leave my hand on this, she's gonna get stuck, right? But if you move and just keep your hands moving, try and keep that contact to a minimum, she ain't gonna stick. Now, the colour of this, you can tell that I've used some kind of wholemeal flour, which is probably an absolute schoolboy error because I couldn't find enough plain flour to make an example. I've done the same with this one here, and I'll talk you through the process. So what I do, when it starts to get nice and smooth, what you'll start to see is it will start to be able to stretch without it tearing, okay? It's not gonna have the window pane thing because we haven't left it long enough. But what we're gonna do now, very, very simply, chuck it into a bowl. We're at 8 AM, 10 minutes of kneading. 8:10. Go have a coffee, say goodbye to your wife, have a lovely time. If you're working from home, this is brilliant. If you're not, it doesn't matter. So now, this period here, until I'd say, well, I do it before I go to bed. So around 10 o'clock, unless I've had a shandy. So in this period here, all I do, I'll show you, but whenever I remember, every hour, every 45 minutes, if you don't come home until 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, don't worry about it. But this is like a Sunday activity where you probably will be at home. All I do, I pull and fold, pull and fold and push down, pull and fold and push down, pull and fold and push down. Cover it like this, leave it to one side, and then come back every hour. Hour, 45 minutes, whatever you fancy. Now what will start to happen, each time you do it, you'll start to see bubbles activating. Now, with sourdough, it's a slower progression of the rise or the proof, whatever you want to call it. Yeast is fast acting, so 1 hour, 2 hours, it will have done its thing. This is probably going to take 8 to 10, maybe more hours to do its whole funcionation, okay? So over this period of time of doing this, you'll start to feel the consistency change. Hopefully, if I'm here long enough, you'll see, but the bubbles will start to appear and it will start to poof up. So when you fold it, just tuck it, tuck, fold. 4 turns, that is it, okay? Then, just before sleepy times, what I do is I take the dough out. I'll show you this one. Like I said, I do this so crudely because I don't really know what I'm doing, but it always turns out all right. All you want to do is create tension on the top surface. So if you imagine like this, you want tension on this part here. If you have a hole here, it's just gonna burst out, okay? Always try and tuck it in like a big old bum so that it's tight on the bottom, but then mainly the tension is on top. So all I do, fold it in, 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 like that, and then just roll it over like this. And then, if the video comes out of Dan, he kind of tucks it like this, tucks, turns, tuck, turn, tuck, turn. And then what you'll see is you'll start to feel it get tighter on that surface, all right? Easy as that, that's all I do, okay? No other skills, that is it. Then I get some semolina, I put semolina down, and I just roll the sticky top end of it and all around the sides, so you can see here, just in semolina. Goes into one of these proofing baskets, £5 Amazon. Then it has a little shower cap, you put it on, This is 10 o'clock, right? So you shaped it, you put it in here, 10 o'clock, goes in the fridge overnight, ready for the next day. So this is the next day. Here we are. So what you'll see is it'll have a bit of a jiggle. There'll be a bit of bounce to it. It shouldn't be like fully poof, because what's gonna happen when it goes in the oven, it's gonna go poof. Now, I'm gonna do something I've never done before, but that's what life's all about. Let's draw a picture. I normally, if doing this at home, get a tray that it fits in, stick that in the oven. Figure out if there's a tray that can sit on top like this, so your bread is gonna be like that can create the form of a lid, yeah? Because what happens is when it cooks, the water or the steam will escape and that will stay in here and help it poof up, okay? What I'm gonna do today is stick it in a Dutch oven. That is not the thing that you do when you do a fart and stick it on someone. What is that called? So preheat the oven. I've got the oven at 205. So I'm gonna stick the old girl up to 220. Now all you're gonna do something like this. Flip her out. And all you're gonna do, take the thing off, plop it in. And then, sharp knife, razor blade if you've got it. We should do this a lot quicker, but it doesn't matter. I am just gonna give it a little cut just around the outsides. One there, and then one, I don't know, there. And maybe one there, just for a laugh. Ooh. Lid goes back on. Gonna stick that in there for 20, let's do 15 minutes, because I've never done this before, with the lid on, and then we'll have a little peek, and then it will take a bit longer. Oh guys, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't set a timer. So we're gonna have a little look. I think it's been about 15, 20 minutes. It's starting to smell like bread. Oh yeah. So what's happened, she's done a really good poof to start off with, and the rise has started to happen. We're just gonna chuck that back in the oven and just keep it going. I'm gonna drop it down to 190, no lid, another 15, 20 minutes. Probably could have left it a bit longer like that, but I panicked. But I'll show you, it doesn't matter. Still get a decent thing. Right, what we're gonna do, I need that tray. Where did I put the tray? Oh my God, I had a tray. You had a tray. Where are you? Where are you now? Lost it. So another thing I am going to do is I'm just going to chuck a little tray, I can't find the other tray, of water just to sort of create some steam in there, because steam is good. It probably would have done more in a Dutch oven if I left it, but as I said, I panicked. So I'm just going to stick this in. Yes. Right, let's set a timer for that because I don't want to get it. 15, 20 minutes. I think it's going to be a good loaf. Oh gosh, I'm so nervous. Hello, hello, it's me again. Hello everyone. Sorry, there's lots of weird blobs around everywhere. Just experimenting. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the bread is about 2 minutes off. I had a little look and she is looking majestic. Now I just wanted to show you this one, right? This one has done absolutely nothing because it's so cold in here. But this has been about 45 minutes and all you're gonna do, again, pick it up like this. Start to see it gets a bit more stretchy. Fold it. Tuck, tuck, tuck. You only have to do it 4 times, just got a bit excited there. Like that, right? It doesn't even look impressive. Trust me, fam. God, I never said that word before. Trust me, brother. Just keep doing it. Leave it like that. We'll come back. Check out this loaf, though. Oh, ladles and jelly spoons. Look at that. You can have a little go on her. Should sound a little bit hollow. Motherfucker. If you were good at this, unlike me, what you would do is you would score this a lot deeper so that it can bust and it can expand and have a wonderful time. But you can clearly tell I didn't do that. I might give this a little touch longer actually. I'm gonna give it 5 more minutes. Tell you why, while I'm here. When I picked it up, nice hollow feeling, but just around here, just felt a little squidge. And it feels still a little bit dense. 5 minutes. Oh, if you wonder why I look like I've been absolutely on, it's because I'm a one-man show, ladies and gentlemen. Apart from Francis, who edits these videos. So thanks, Francis. Oh, it's just me, little old me, talking to myself. Here we go. I gave it another 5 more minutes. So as I said, the most important piece of this puzzle is allowing this little sister sledge to rest. If you was to cut into this now, it's still, there's some temperature in that. So if you cut into that, the dough is not gonna have a time to relax and it's just gonna go all gummy. So you allow that to chill, the steam will go, it will calm down a little bit and we'll have a little cut. I think she's good. She might be a little bit dense because I used wholemeal, but she looks like a loaf. I mean, that'll pass, wouldn't it? Slice that up, give it to someone. While we're here, what I wanted to talk to you about is starter discard, right? So I know I said at the beginning, I was like, it's only flour and water, but look, there are things you can do with it because a lot of people do a lot of bread making and they need to continually churn over a starter. So you can make crumpets for one. You can just turn them into little pancakes. I've done that before, like have the starter, mix a bit more flour. It almost tastes like a cheesy funk. Pour it into a bit of a pan and you can get little mini Bellini style things. Absolutely wonderful. Bit of egg on there, you know, whatever. You can put it through other batters. You could put it for a muffin mix. You could put it for a flipping scone mix, a scone. Where am I from? There's lots of options. I know I said you discard it because it's only a minimal amount, but if you are doing big batches, you can use that discard. Let me know in the comments if there are anything else you do discard that is interesting, apart from spreading it on your skin because it's good for ya. Right, we're gonna let that chill. I'm gonna go do my deliveries and I'll see you in a bit to eat some of this. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, what a day. I just done all my deliveries, dropped off my vinegar. As I was pulling out, I side-swiped a car. Silly me. Oh. So now I'm in that weird limbo land of like, I put a note on the car and I said I'm sorry, but like, I'm waiting. Anyway, here's the loaf. You ready? I'm not gonna go in the middle because I wanna eat this like a normal human being. So I'm just gonna rattle down the old side. See, that's been half an hour and it is still piping hot. Look at that. You see that? That is a wonderful bit of bread. So as I said, I'm not a master of this, but I can make a decent loaf that is going to be tasty and edible. Get that nice little slob on there, like a buttery cheesy thing. There you go. Bread, isn't it? Tasty. Well, there you go. There you go. That is how you do sourdough. If you did like that, don't forget to like and subscribe so you see more future videos. I'm sure this is going to be quite a long, lengthy one. So if you've made it this far, you are a legend. Round of applause. Show me your loaves. Love you all. It's good, that.